Welcome back, welcome back. We know that life has its challenges. Certainly we can't discount that. But we can't let it rule our lives, can we? In spite of everything, we must develop a formula for positive living. We must develop principles that will serve as roots, that will nourish us during the time of storm. And storms will come. But then, if we are firmly rooted in our values, our attitudes, and our principles, nothing can shake us, can it? So, let's listen how we can develop the power of positive living.
If you were arrested for kindness, would there be enough evidence to convict you? Commentator Michael Josephson once asked. He then noted something we have all experienced. Some people cheer up a room by entering it, others by leaving it. What do you bring to your interactions with workmates, friends, and family? Is it encouragement, optimism, or kind words? Or is it pessimism, criticism, or cynicism? As beautiful and abundant as this world is, there often seems to be a shortage of kindness and optimism. Many of us are doing our best to stay positive and look for the good, but sometimes we may feel weighed down by the gloominess and rudeness around us. Indeed, it can be difficult to be kind-hearted in what seems to be, at times, a cold-hearted world. We need hope and strength, two of the great fundamental virtues that can shape our nature and our world. Even in the face of compelling evidence to the contrary, we can choose to believe that things will work out and that people, in their hearts, respond best to kindness. These are decisions of hope and strength. They are the power of positive living. It can be done. In fact, it can become a way of life. That's what has happened with an 84-year-old woman who lives in an assisted living center. It would be easy for her to complain about being left alone after the passing of her dear husband. It would be easy to grumble about her inability to walk and her lack of freedom. It would be easy to gripe about the food, the weather, her health, and her situation. But she has made a decision to be positive and to be kind. She has become the person who cheers up a room by entering it. As a result, people are drawn to her. They call and visit her for no reason at all. They just like being around her. That's the power of positive living. The more you look for all that is good and hopeful, the more you find yourself surrounded by it.
Now, how are we prepared to approach life? Positively? With hope? With determination? If you are, you can ask yourself this question. What am I enjoying in my life right now? And how does it make me feel? Now, how does it make you feel? When you listen to the presentation that we just played for you, I saw that a 84-year-old person was able to exude kindness and understanding in a way that she attracts, rather than detract people from her. When you think about that, don't you think that you've got the ability to do likewise? I'm sure you do have the ability to do likewise. Of course, there are many that will discourage you. There are many who think that they haven't got the ability because they don't want to. They probably think things in life just come as easy as the wind blows. Don't be like that. Please don't be like that. Because the following song describe a person with that sort of thinking.
I used to play around with hearts, hasten at my call. But when I met that little girl, I knew that I would fall. Poor little fool. Oh yeah, I was a fool. Poor little fool. I was a fool. Oh yeah. She'd play around and tease me with her carefree devil eyes. She'd hold me close and kiss me, but her heart was full of lies. Poor little fool. Oh yeah, I was a fool. Poor little fool. I was a fool. Oh yeah. She told me how she cared for me and that we'd never part. And so for the very first time I gave away my heart. Poor little fool. Oh yeah, I was a fool. Poor little fool. I was a fool. Oh yeah. The next day she was gone and I knew she lied to me. She left me with a broken heart, won her victory. Poor little fool. Oh yeah, I was a fool. Poor little fool. I was a fool. Oh yeah. Well, I played this game with other hearts, but I never thought I'd see the day when someone else would play love's foolish game with me. Poor little fool. Oh yeah, I was a fool. Poor little fool. I was a fool. Oh yeah. Poor little fool. Oh yeah, I was a fool. Poor little fool.
Poor little fool. Yeah, there are some of us who thinks that everything just come easy, and we try to engage in activities that's somewhat unproductive. That's not very wise, is it? You see, everyone has a story to tell. Everyone you meet in this life will have a story to tell. You need to listen carefully and evaluate circumstances and act accordingly. And the next feature we're about to play will tell you about a rather touching story, and we urge you to listen very carefully.
Never know the whole story of anyone's life. We might know bits and pieces, parts of a person's background or circumstances, but never the whole story. For example, it's estimated that more than 15,000 books have been written about Abraham Lincoln and another 50,000 about the Civil War. And yet, with all those volumes, more will yet be written. More details will be revealed, and each will be examined from new perspectives in the coming years. And even then, we will not know the whole story. Likewise, each life is an unfolding story, a story of growth and learning and change, a story of happiness and heartbreak, a story of success and sorrow. So perhaps we ought to be a little more patient, a little more forgiving. Perhaps we ought to be slower to judge and quicker to love. Many years ago, a 14-year-old girl contracted a terrible case of chicken pox. Fever burned its way through her body, and before long, the unsightly pox erupted all over her skin. She missed several days of school before the doctor assured her that she was no longer contagious, though her face was covered with scabs. Mustering all her courage, she boarded the junior high school bus that first day back. A thoughtless young man called out and made fun of her scarred face while his friends laughed. She pretended not to hear them as she walked toward an empty seat. If only they knew the whole story. If only they knew how difficult it was for her to face her peers that day. Never forget that every life and every occasion is unfolding in a unique and distinctive way. We may know some, but never all of the story. So err on the side of compassion. Hold off on criticism and sarcasm, and never withhold kindness and mercy. And then someday, when the whole story is finally written, we'll be thankful that we were able to contribute, at least in some small way, to a happy ending.
When you listen to that story, you can only ask yourself the question, what have I given today? In what way have I contributed to someone's happiness today? Have I contributed anything to make someone happy? And furthermore, do you think that we have good reasons to be happy? You may also ask a question. Who or what do I love? What influenced my love? And how does it make me feel? Once you can answer that, you will understand that you should never take away your love from a deserving party.
Take away the autumn leaves, take away the summer breeze, but don't take away your love. Take away the moonlit skies, take the sunshine from my eyes, but don't take away your love. Let me touch your lips. I know the thrill of all your charms. Then I'll hold the world, the very world within my arms. Take away the kiss of spring, take away my everything, but don't take away your love. No, 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 don't take away your love. Please don't take away your love. No, 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 darling, don't take away your love. Oh, just let me touch your lips. I know the thrill of all your charms. Then I'll hold the world, the very world within my arms. Take away the kiss of spring, take away my everything, but don't take away your love. Don't take away your love. No, 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 no. Don't take
Don't take away your love. Now, let me ask another question. What are you committed to in your life? And what are you committed to in your life right now? And how does it make you feel? Does it make you feel that you're committed to do, or happy that you're committed to do, what you think is necessary for the benefit of mankind? Do you feel that is a commitment? Well, you must remember that we all are here just to do the best we can for each other. In other words, we're here to serve. But it's important to remember that you can't do everything. You must just do what you can and be happy with what you've contributed, and also the other person will be very happy contribute for their happiness.
We can't do everything for everyone, but that shouldn't stop us from doing something for someone. Noted author and religious leader Neal A. Maxwell was a very compassionate but busy man. He had on his office wall a useful reminder of this reality of life by Anne Morrow Lindbergh. My life cannot implement in action the demands of all the people to whom my heart responds. That's not so much an excuse to ignore the needs of others as it is a perceptive statement about pace and wisely doing what we can. We serve no one well when we try to run faster than we have strength or do more than is wise. We can't do all things or be all things to all people. If we feel burdened by the demands of others, we just do what we can. If we feel overwhelmed by responsibilities and duties, we just do what we can. If we regret that we can't do more for more people, we just do what we can. The question comes down to, what can I do? And that is best answered by each person individually, according to our situation and circumstances. Not only is it different for every person, but it also changes over time. During certain seasons of life, perhaps we can do more, giving of our means, our unhurried time, our resources. At others, perhaps our offering is more simple. A prayer, a phone call, a smile, a kind word. If we genuinely offer what we can, we will be comforted with the joy and peace that come from knowing our offering was authentic and sincere. The same principle applies to our health and happiness, our well-being and goals, our obligations, expectations, and relationships.
They go from expected to extraordinary in the blink of an eye.
Our honest efforts, our
awestricken.
wholehearted
They transform
contributions,
themselves to
even if it
something that
doesn't
you've never
seem
seen
like
before.
much, can make all the difference.
They swagger and serenade.
You're listening to Just Talking Loud,
They
broadcasting
dance.
from Newstalk, Nights Right from right here on the beautiful Mullah
And
campus
display.
of the University of the West Indies in Kingston, Jamaica. We're about to take a
They're
short break.
unlike any
We'll be
creatures
back
on
with
Earth,
voluntarily.
and one of the most astounding phenomena ever witnessed. The birds of paradise.
Newstalk 93 FM.
Found
Rail
here
news.
in the nearly
Rail
impenetrable
talk.
mountains and
Heard
valleys of the island of New Guinea.
Everywhere.
In the greatest remaining tract of rainforest in the entire Asia-Pacific region. They exist